Hey, what's going on, guys? UFC 300 absolutely delivered. And in the featured fight on the main card, we got Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. And this is going to be my post-fight recap of that particular fight. I've already done a post-fight for the main event. I'll also be doing a full card recap. But I felt like Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway deserved its own video because what a legendary moment. Max Holloway wins via brutal KO with 1 second left on the clock. It was really 2 seconds, but by the time the ref stepped in, there was 1 second left on the clock. It officially went down. 24 minutes, 59 seconds. That's when the KO officially happened. The stoppage officially happened. And the reason I wanted to do a dedicated video on this is because I feel like there's so many different angles to cover with this fight. But also, I didn't want to just cover it for 4 or 5 minutes in my full card recap, because I was so wrong about this fight. And I'm not talking about prediction. Like, obviously, I care about predictions to a certain extent, but some people, I think a lot of the fan base in general gets a little bit too crazy about predictions, and they're like, oh, you got this wrong. I'm not even talking about the prediction itself. The fight itself, even if Justin Gaethje were to get a 5th round KO, I was completely wrong about this fight even being competitive, and I feel like I robbed myself a little bit. I feel like I robbed myself because, to be honest, don't get me wrong, tonight at UFC 300, the last couple days, I started to get excited for this fight. But overall, I didn't have, I don't know what the word for, I didn't really have this any crazy hype for this fight. And I wish I would have had more. But I'm looking at Max Holloway. I'm looking at him getting tagged by the Korean Zombie. I know eventually he won. And I'm looking at Justin Gaethje brutally sleeping Dustin Poirier, a guy who beat up Max Holloway many years ago at lightweight. I'm looking at the damage that Max Holloway's taken since then. And I'm like, why did they make this fight? I thought this was a massive mistake for Max Holloway. I was wrong on every angle there possibly could be. I was wrong on the prediction. I picked Gaethje to win this fight. We're going to break down why I think Gaethje lost this fight in a second. But I was wrong about Max making a huge mistake. I mean, this could have been a huge mistake, but it wasn't. It wasn't. He can literally do anything he wants now. He has a slight claim to a lightweight title shot. He has an undeniable claim to a featherweight title shot before this fight. After this fight, I think it helps, strengthen that claim, and I think that's the only fight to make. But also, just in the way this fight played out, Max showed up tonight, and he looked better than ever. He truly looked better than ever in this fight. And I still think, on top of having all that wrong, I think some people are going to be down in the comments complaining about this. I think the perception of this fight is a little bit crazy, and maybe my perception is a little bit skewed. The legendary moment in the 5th round. The 5th round, legendary moment, crazy, one of the craziest moments in UFC history. But I feel like that's clouded people's judgment into acting like this was one of the greatest fights of all time. To be honest, okay, and let me finish my statement before you go crazy down in the comments. I thought this fight was kind of boring. I don't actually think this fight was boring, but I think for kind of the high bar that I set for Max Holloway and Gaethje, like I felt like the first 4 rounds of this fight were underwhelming, maybe because of the high expectations I put on Holloway and Gaethje, because I consider them 2 of the most exciting fighters on the roster. And now I feel like because of the finish, people are acting like this was some legendary, crazy, barn burner fight. It was a good quality fight. It was an exciting fight. But now people are acting like this is fight of the century. People are acting like this is Yuri Prochazka, Glover Teixeira. People are acting like this is Jones Gustafsson. I disagree with that. I don't want to complain about the fight. I just disagree with that. I wanted to put that out there. Now, as far as how the fight actually went down, I truly believe the spinning back kick in the first round won Max Holloway this entire fight. I think it won him this entire fight. That's truly a fight-defining strike. So let me go through the fight. First round, kind of low output. Max Holloway was moving really well, landing pretty good, nothing crazy. There was a left hook early from Holloway that kind of stung Gaethje. Gaethje was landing some good leg kicks, some good calf kicks early. And then at the end of the round, Max Holloway was like 1 second to go, throws a spinning back kick, and for some reason, the entirety of the fight, Justin Gaethje would duck down every time Max Holloway would spin. I don't know if he was expecting a heel kick to the head or a spinning back fist. Every single time without fail, Justin Gaethje would duck down when he threw it. Now, when Holloway threw this at the end of the round, Gaethje ducked down. It caught him on the nose and broke his nose. Broke his nose, busted up his nose. He went back to his corner, completely different man. Apparently couldn't even breathe out of his nose at all, and his mouth was wide open. Second round, he comes out. Second round, honestly, I'm going to be honest, I thought this round could have went either way. I know people were acting like Max was dominating this fight. The second round was so low output. Neither guy was really taking over in the second round. Gaethje was chopping legs, doing damage. There was 2 eye pokes from Holloway, and I haven't rewatched the second round, and that's why it was kind of hard to score, because there was multiple breaks where, Max got some pretty brutal eye pokes. I don't know if he was watching Chris Weidman, Bruno Silva, and got some ideas. So there's 2 brutal eye pokes. There was like a minute delay, and before the fight started, back up both times, and it kind of threw this round off, at least in terms of scoring. But Gaethje did some decent damage with the kicks. Holloway landed some good shots. There was nothing really crazy in the second round. I scored it for Holloway. I thought he edged it out, but the second round was very close. I thought the second round could have went either way. Third round, Max started stinging Gaethje multiple times. And I think a lot of people coming out of this fight are going to have a warped perception of Max Holloway's power, because they were acting like Gaethje was getting rocked badly in this third round, the commentary team was. But what it was Gaethje's nose was so hurt. It was like Rory McDonald when he fought Robbie Lawler. The nose was so devastatingly hurt. Every time it got touched, it was like really affecting him. He was looking away. He was kind of rocking backwards. It was severe pain because the nose was so compromised. So in the third round, you had Max stinging him multiple times. You had Gaethje throwing some leg kicks. Kind of low output. Nothing crazy in this round, but a clear 10-9 for Max. So I have Max up 3 rounds at this point. Somehow in the fourth round, Gaethje comes back. Max was stinging him early, but again, it was because of the nose. It wasn't like rocking him. Gaethje started to come back and dropped Max Holloway late in the fourth round. Max wasn't hurt terribly. His eyes were still, there, and he was looking up at Gaethje as he gets dropped to a knee, popped right back up. Gaethje landed some leg kicks, landed some decent combinations in this round, was fine in the distance. Gaethje undeniably took the fourth round. So theoretically, with round 2 being so close, it could be 2-2 going into the fifth. Wasn't the craziest barn burner fight. It was a very good fight, very exciting fight. I had a super high bar for both these guys. But really, honestly, what surprised me about this fight was the movement of Max Holloway. And it shouldn't have surprised me, but the movement was so good in this fight from Max. I think it's that plus that spinning back kick in the first round, I think it's what won in the fight. But let's talk about the fifth round. Fifth round, Max hurts. Gaethje's being aggressive early in the fifth round. It seems like Gaethje kind of got a second win in that fourth round. He's looking to win the fifth. He's looking to be aggressive. Gets clipped with, I think it was a right hand. Actually hurt, stung. Backs up, starts covering up against the fence. Max is just swarming in with combinations, but not getting too crazy. Occasionally, Gaethje's throwing back. Then he covers up. He really shells up heavily. And Max starts ripping to the body a couple times before finally backing off because he realized, okay, he's back. He's here. He's not hurt badly. He kind of stung him pretty good with that right hand, but it wasn't like he was so wobbled. Then you have Gaethje, kind of, I don't want to say he came back, but kind of starting to fight a little bit better and land some. And, it's after that initial first minute sequence where Holloway was really on him. The rest of that was kind of a low output again. It wasn't a low output for these two guys. Let me put it that way. And then in the last 20 seconds, Gaethje's being aggressive. At one point, he throws a cartwheel kick or a rolling thunder kick. I forget which one it was. I think it was a rolling thunder kick. And then Max avoids that, and Max walks to the center and points like he did against Ricardo Lamas. And Gaethje nods his head, walks forward. They start slinging it out in the center. Both swinging. I think Gaethje landed a left hook at one point. And Max lands a couple shots. I don't remember exactly what landed. This was a wild, crazy, chaotic sequence. And Holloway, I noticed, especially watching the replay, but I noticed it live as well. When you look at this exchange, Gaethje's looking down here and just swinging wild. Meanwhile, Max Holloway's locked in. He's locked in, staring dead forward, moving to avoid shots, and just slinging, has his eye on the target. And boom, cracks Gaethje with a nasty right hand, slumps him out cold with 1 second on really 2 seconds on the clock, but with 1 second on the clock. Viral UFC 300 moment. Insane moment for the sport. Insane moment for Max Holloway. And what really made this crazy, in my opinion, was how many people counted out Max Holloway, myself included. Again, I already covered it in the beginning of the video. I know someone's going to comment, Joey, you're one of these people. Yeah. Some of us can look back and, self-analyze our opinions going into a certain fight. A lot of people overlooking Max Holloway, myself included. And to see him go out there, he was going to win this decision regardless. Again, I would have had him 4-1 on the scorecards. Only fourth round he would have lost because he got dropped. He could have won that round if he didn't get dropped. To go out there and beat Gaethje via decision would have been very, very impressive up a weight class. To flatline KO him in the 5th round was straight up insanity. And Max, he could have got clipped. Gaethje has nasty power. He could have got clipped and put to sleep. I do think what really changed this fight, and I know I talked about it earlier, was that spinning back kick in the 1st round. I think Gaethje, once that nose really got caved in, I think he was, I don't want to say he was checked out, because that's not what I mean. But I think Gaethje was severely compromised, and I think it affected him throughout the entirety of the fight. I think without that spinning back kick early, I'm not saying Holloway doesn't win. That's not what I'm saying. I think this has the potential to be a totally different fight. Who truly wins, I don't know. Right now, I would favor Holloway, obviously. But I think that kick by Max Holloway that he landed countless times, I'm not saying it's a fluke. I know some people are going to somehow misconstrue this. Max landed this kick multiple times. It didn't always land to the nose, but he landed multiple times, and Gaethje would always duck down. For whatever reason, Gaethje, as soon as Max would spin, Gaethje would duck down right into the path of that spin. Now, multiple times it landed to the body. Some of the time it kind of clipped the, head, and some of the times it would clip the forearms of Gaethje. But Max came out and put on such a statement performance, and he took such a risk, in my opinion, basically foregone the Topuria shot to fight Justin Gaethje for the BMF title. By the way, I hate the BMF title, and Dana White's like, yeah, this is here to stick around. I get it, man. Max Holloway's a savage. Justin Gaethje's a savage. We're getting into WWE belts. This is a slippery slope. What's next? Intercontinental belt? Hardcore belt? Tag team belts? I hate it. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I've already gone over that multiple times. Dana White's like, yeah, it's here to stay. Well, now what are you going to have defending? What happens if he fights an undisputed? Is it on the line? Like if he fights Topuria next, is it on the line? It's a very bizarre and unique set of circumstances, but I think Holloway deserves the next title shot at featherweight. I want to see Volkanovski take some time off. Whoever wins, if I'm Volkanovski, I'd want Holloway to go out there and potentially beat Topuria. I'd want him to do that. And Max is not getting a lightweight title shot because they just announced Islam Makhachev versus Dustin Poirier for Newark. I was going to make a video tonight, but the fact that I still have to make a full card post-fight, I'm probably going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to get some sleep. It's 4 a.m. Oh my God, where's the time gone? But I think Max has earned a title shot. I think he already was deserving of a featherweight title shot, but he was kind of in a weird no man's land because of Volkanovski as the champion. But how can he not earn it with this? I understand it's a different division. I understand it's for a corny gimmick belt that Dana White's now pissed that people are calling it a gimmick, but it is a gimmick because it's not the undisputed belt. It's a gimmick. But the win streak speaks for itself. Incredible performance. And the fact that he was being counted out. Just makes this performance that much more incredible. And Gaethje was having some success. I mean, the leg kick, he was smashing the leg of Max Holloway. Max Holloway was just ignoring it. It was swollen bad. It was beat up bad. He was switching stances a few times. But it didn't seem like his mobility was compromised at all. And he was tagging Gaethje throughout this fight. Now, I think, again, the perception of Max Holloway's power is going to be skewed after this fight because of the KO finish, where he's literally ripping his full body weight into those shots, and Gaethje's kind of, ripping, not moving his head as well and kind of leaning into some of those shots. And I think the right hand he was kind of swaying into when he got hit. Not to say Max Holloway doesn't have power, but again, I think people are going to act like he has some ungodly power now. And the shots that he was really piecing up Gaethje with earlier really wasn't rocking. It was more the nose injury. But amazing performance by Holloway. If somebody has to win the BMF title, Holloway does deserve it. He is a bad motherfucker, even though the dumbass UFC broadcast can't say that, even though it is kind of corny. I didn't really like saying it myself there. But incredible performance. He dealt with the leg damage. He ate a few heavy shots from Justin Gaethje in this fight, a few good right hands. But honestly, I think the key to this fight for Max Holloway was the movement in those spinning back kicks. I think that's what won him the fight. I truly do. And I hate to even make this comparison, but to compare it to another fight on the card tonight, Justin Gaethje looked like Jessica Andrade, trying to close the distance and having trouble. Gaethje's rushing forward, throwing big winging hooks, looking for big power shots. Max Holloway's nowhere to be found. Then Max Holloway, boom, 3 jabs. Boom, landing a right hand. Boom, switching stances, body kick. Boom, spinning back kick to the body, lands to the nose. Holloway's movement and his diversity of attack, and the fact that he knows when to look for the kill and when to not look for the kill and not put himself in really bad situations against a power puncher like Justin Gaethje. Incredible performance, incredible fight IQ. I mean, outside of the last 10 seconds, but look what happened in that last 10 seconds. He earned himself a $600K bonus. He got fight of the night against Justin Gaethje, which I kind of disagree with. I think it probably should have been Yuri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic, but he also got KO over the night. He got one of the most viral moments of all time. Got some crazy, cool pictures of himself after the KO. It's a legendary moment on one of the biggest cards of all time. But I will say this. You know, there was a lot of talk from myself included. I know someone's going to say, you know, I don't want to keep talking about those people. There was talk of Max Holloway. This would be the career ender for Max Holloway. This is going to be the time Max Holloway lost his chin. That did not happen. This could have been that night for Justin Gaethje. We have to appreciate these guys when they're in a special moment in time. Justin Gaethje came into this fight riding off a beautiful head kick KO over Dustin Poirier where he flatlined him. He went out there in the fight before that, beat Rafael Fiziev via decision, okay? Gaethje was looking at a title shot. Now it is April 14th of 2024. And within the span of just what? 6-8 months since last summer, whatever that is, whatever that timing is. I don't feel like doing, it's 4 a.m. I don't feel like doing the math right now. You go from Justin Gaethje flatlining Dustin Poirier to win a BMF title to now Poirier's getting a lightweight title shot and Justin Gaethje just got flatline KO'd and potentially career-altering damage from Max Holloway. Max Holloway just avenged Tony Ferguson. I was talking. Max Holloway's the next Tony Ferguson. Max Holloway just avenged Tony Ferguson and may have changed Justin Gaethje's entire career trajectory from here on out. Meanwhile, Dustin Poirier's in a title shot right now. An undeserved title shot, might I add. An undeserved title shot, which I'm going to make a whole nother video on that. So who made the mistake? If you would have told me going into this fight, oh, Justin Gaethje's the one that made the mistake, I'd be like, what? Max Holloway took a massive risk going up in weight against a stylistic nightmare matchup and came out with a viral 5th round KO, flatline KO, $600K bonus on top of his salary, and a title shot in whatever division he wants. And it's most likely going to be Ilia Topuria. And Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway, injected into my veins right now. That is a banger featherweight matchup. Volkanovski, sit on the sidelines. Rest that chin up. Rest that brain up. Let's get Topuria versus Max Holloway, and let's get it soon. Book it International Fight Week. We just found out apparently Conor McGregor's finally going to fight Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler left his family in January. Let's get Holloway Topuria on that card. I doubt it. They're going to make that a headliner. Maybe in Spain. I doubt it. Maybe the Sphere. Who knows? That's the next fight that needs to get made. That is truly the next fight that needs to get made. Super impressive performance by Max Holloway. I did not see this coming. I think he really filled out to his lightweight frame. I wonder if he has trouble getting back down to featherweight. Only time will tell. I want to see him against Topuria. Justin Gaethje's career may be over. Meanwhile, Dustin Poirier is fighting for a title. I mean, how crazy is that? How crazy is that considering what we were looking at last July when Dustin Poirier got slept brutally with a head kick from Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje made a mistake. The biggest headline coming out of this card is Justin Gaethje made a mistake against Max Holloway, taking the fight against Max Holloway. That is one of my biggest takeaways from this fight. Congrats to Max Holloway. Incredible performance. Career-defining performance. And I can't wait to see him against Ilia Topuria. I absolutely cannot wait to see him against Ilia Topuria. Do me a favor, guys. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Go check out my main event breakdown as well. Go check out my full card breakdown as well, which will be coming out very soon. Links will be down in the description for everything that's done, as well as my UFC 300 playlist. I appreciate every single one of you who watch the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.